Race number one on our New Year's program is a 2,000 metre turf race. Kicking off the program is set to go at 1:30 p.m. UK time. I think Godolphin hold the key here in this race. I didn't have too much confidence in the event, but just with the draws, I thought Alpine Trail potentially the one to keep an eye on the most. I also respect Arabian Lights chances. I thought they were the main two in the race. Look, honourable mentions to Bedouin Prince, King's Charter. I mean, Sean can run a good race. He just still yet to break through here, and he is getting older now. Archivist and Shepparton Lodge, both on their days, could run nice races. But look, Alpine Trail, if I had to pick one, would be my top selection here for Danny Tudhope and Charlie Appleby to kick off the card. We head over 6 on the dirt for the second race, the Bingati. It's a 70 to 90. Jump time 2:05 p.m. UK time, 13, 2, 1 and 8 for me. Look, Don Pacifico, if he'd drawn a gate, would have been right up there. He's a top 3 player now because of that. Lafferty on her day could run a good race, but I am with a 13 here. Royal Correspondent hasn't won a race. I'm making this horse my value for the night. As a result of being a maiden, you're going to get a price. So I'm interested to see how Royal Correspondent runs here. Was very impressive behind Muzahim in inferior company, but it was the manner in which he raced and only just went down to Muzahim, fighting all the way to the line, that I think with these main chances drawing wide will put him right into the race as hopefully a winner and a top 3 player as well. But look, stable going very well. Kieran Schumark rides from a good draw. I'm willing to risk that Royal Correspondent might be in the finish here in the second race. Well, the sprints don't end there. We head onto the turf for our straight 6 event, the third on the card, set to go at 2:40 p.m. UK time. This one here is a interesting race to decipher because we've got a couple of horses who have already done great stuff. Other horses bringing good resumes from overseas, kicking off their UAE campaign. A UAE-owned horse makes his way here under the care of Karl Burke, and when the Karl Burke horses travel, you've got to give them plenty of respect. I think Araby has got a great profile to be a nice straight 6 horse here in the country, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes here for Sam James and Karl Burke. Araby, I think he's a nice play. He's got all the stats. He's travelled before and performed, which should see him be able to come here to the UAE and not need that run. I think he'll be ready to go right off the bat, and from a good draw, expect him to run a good race. Araby, my first play for the evening. Well, the second play is not too far behind. Race number 4, we head to our 1,400 metre Jumeirah Stakes. This one here is a conditions race, 300,000 dirham. Jump time is 3:15 p.m. UK time. 7, 4, 6 and 2. Going to side with Do or Do Not again. I think a few people after that last performance may put him in the bin, but look, I'm not. I think he's rated for the reason that he is, because he's a really good horse. He just doesn't know how to put that race away. If he's able to become a horse who can put all his time, energy and attention on race night into winning the race, he will be winning far superior races than what he faces here. And yes, he was beaten by Power for Power, who rattled home last time out. It was also the horse's first run on the track. I think with the run under the belt here at Meydan, we're going to see him improve. And once he gets that first win out of the way, I think it's going to be a flow-on effect. He's going to start winning more races, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him string 2 or 3 wins together. So I'll side with Do or Do Not. He's drawn very well here again. I expect him to box seat and pop out at the right time, and hopefully he finds the finish line first. He's my second play for the evening, Do or Do Not. The first of our 2 group features is the Dubawi Stakes, and it's a very similar field to what we saw in the Al Garud Sprint only a few weeks ago. And I don't expect the results to change much, to be fair. Numbers for me, 3, 5, 2 and 1. I'm siding with Al Naseeb here. He beat all these horses last time out. I can't see why he can't do it again. Some may think that the early speed in the Al Garud Sprint burnt the chances of a few horses. As a result, I do expect a horse like Mufasa to be ridden a little more neutral. He doesn't need to get involved in the speed battle. But at the same time, Dark Saffron won't get his uncontested lead as he expected, with Pontos coming across to the dirt and only increasing that pace that's going to be up front. I expect him to be matching motors with Dark Saffron in the lead, that could bring Dark Saffron undone. But regardless, it creates a very hot tempo, which is something that El Naseeb needs to run his best race. I expect their pace to be pretty strong in this, and El Naseeb to be rattling over the top again. And I've thrown Colour up in for second. He was just as impressive to only go down again and pick up yet another second here in the UAE. But I think this will be a back markers race. I expect them to go hard and those horses to be rallying late in the piece. But it's El Naseeb for me, my third play for the meeting. The Group 2 is our feature race for the evening. It's the Zabil Mile over the 1600 metres for 850,000 dirham. The jump time, 4:25 p.m. UK times. Getting in these nice and early, 3, 1, 4 and 2, but it's a low confidence race for me. There's just too many form lines coming into this to really make a good assessment on who's going to win. I'm sure it's going to be a really competitive race, but just being able to single one out is proving to be a lot harder than expected. Look, I'll side with Aomori City. I've made that horse my top selection. I like the fact the horse has travelled to the US and done well there. The horse is well travelled compared to a lot of these other horses in the race, and I think that will only aid his chances. His biggest danger, potentially Quddwah. Loved his France campaign. He was very dangerous there in his Longchamp runs, and he was it was unfortunate that he didn't have more success than he did, but he's a very nice horse and I expect him to run a good race. Kafaf of the horses in this field has the best Meydan resume, which will hold him in good stead. And 2, Holloway Boy, doesn't run into Measured Time and Romantic Warrior this time around. Look, it's still a strong field, but he will find this a little easier than what he's faced at Meydan last season. He just has to overcome that wide draw. Low confidence race. If I had to pick one, it's Aomori City. Hard to not be excited by the debut performance of Lino Pedrino. I expect him to go forward again from gate number 2. He's drawn very well. Expect him to be up in the mix and hopefully trying to leave these for dead at the turn. What he did on the course and the time in which he did it, looking at the overall times for the night, it was quite impressive. And I think that we'll see him be ridden like the best horse in the race. I don't expect them to change too much, and he should only improve on his fitness from last time out with that run under the belt now. 14, Masood. I think he's going to get better every start. Expect him to be rattling on from the back late. Duke of Amartin was a very nice performer at Jebel Ali. He's trained at Meydan, so I don't expect the second start to be too much of a shock for him at a new track. The 8 in 6 speed, getting to the end of his distance range at 1400, but was an honourable winner last time out. But it's the 6, Lino Pedrino for me. I think he'll be winning the UAE 2000 Guineas trial. He looks the benchmark horse in the field. Out to 1 3/4 miles for our final race of the evening. This one for the stayers, and numbers for me here, 10, 5, 9 and 2. Found a very tough end to the program with a lot of horses coming here from different form lines. Look, I'll side with Meydan. I don't think they expected this horse to go to Melbourne and tackle a soft 7 or a soft 6 track in the Melbourne Cup. They weren't expecting that kind of weather, let alone that kind of track. He's back on a dry surface here for this first run back in the UAE. James Doyle jumps aboard for Simon and Ed Crisford. I think he's the horse to beat. 5, Endless Victory, and 9, King of Conquest for Godolphin. Both make good cases. 2, Burdett Road. Very rare we see horses come out of a chase into a race here at Meydan. We've had hurdlers here in the past, but horse that's run in a chase last start, potentially not. Not too sure whether or not that might be a first here for UAE racing. But James Owen travels horses and does it successfully. Looking forward to seeing how he goes here with Burdett Road. Pat Cosgrave back over to do the riding here. His first meeting here in the UAE for the season. So giving him respect. But look, if I had to pick one in a low confidence event, it's Meydan. I really like his profile and I expect him to be running a nice race here. Number 10 for me in the last.